So people will often point to Romans 10 verse 4 as another excuse to say that they don't have to obey the Ten Commandments. It says, "For Christ is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone that believes." But let's take a look at the context and see what is Paul talking about here. You see, Paul actually spends about Romans 9 through 11 speaking about Israel and their failure in the Old Covenant. And he actually describes which law it is he's talking about here. It's not the Ten Commandments, folks. Because again, if you compare scripture with scripture, what we find is the ceremonial law is what was ended at the cross, not the Ten Commandments. Those are eternal. And what we find here for this word goal in Romans 10 verse 4 is very interesting. It's fascinating. It means to set out for a definite point or goal. It means the point aimed at. It can mean termination, and in terms of the ceremonial law, yes. It refers to a prophetic purpose. Because again, as I've been saying throughout a few of my recent videos, the ceremonial law is a prophetic miniature, a compacted prophecy of the gospel. Passover was far deeper than slaying a lamb and putting its blood on the doorpost. It foreshadowed Calvary. Unleavened bread, same thing. It foreshadowed Jesus in the grave. First fruits, same thing. It foreshadowed the resurrection of Jesus. And you can go on down the list. Every feast has a fulfillment in Jesus. Even the Feast of Weeks had its fulfillment in Acts chapter 2, Pentecost. The Feast of Trumpets had its fulfillment in the 1830s and 40s movement, where people were saying, look folks, Jesus is coming soon. Judgment is coming. In fact, that's what trumpets symbolize, are warnings of coming judgments. The Day of Atonement, October 22nd, 1844. If you go to my website, you can study this chart at the bottom here. But all of these feasts are about Jesus. All of them point forward to Jesus. So when we look at Romans 10 verse 4, it's not saying that Christ is the end of the Ten Commandments. For one, again, he's not even referring to the Ten Commandments here. He's referring to the law of Moses. He's also referring to righteousness by faith. Israel's struggle was legalism. And Paul had a passion to understand. Read Romans 11. Paul had a passion for them to understand what it really means to love and obey God. That you cannot earn his favor or salvation. You know, if we translate this verse literally, it would say, for Christ is the prophetic purpose of the law, the prophetic fulfillment of the law of Moses. My friend, even Paul taught that the Ten Commandments still apply. If you don't believe me, go to my YouTube channel and look up what Paul taught on the Ten Commandments. Those who truly love Jesus, they will obey his Ten Commandment law.